The spread of the coronavirus, COVID-19, has been a major shock to the growth prospects of the global economy and the euro area economy.
I think we're going to do something that gets money to them as quickly as possible. That may not be an accurate way of doing it because obviously some people shouldn't be getting checks for $1,000, and we'll have a pretty good idea by the end of the day what we're going to be doing.
Everyone should have been aware by now. Currently, we are experiencing a world that we have never been experienced before. Out of the 233 countries in the world, 203, which is equivalent to 87% of the country in the world, have been infected by coronavirus COVID-19. More than 800,000 of people have been infected and more than 40,000 of people have died from the disease. Most of the countries in the world have now been locked down and the economy have been shut down. And yet, in the last week of March 2020, we have seen a hike in the global share market. And this really caught my attention. The financial market hiked up while major of the global economy have been locked down and there is no sign of recovery. That's why I've been doing some research on this topic, and this is exactly what I'm going to share with you today. My name is Derek. I have been involving myself in real estate, investment, F&B and retail business. But don't take my words today as the decision makings of your investment, because I can't finish explaining everything in the single video. Please do your own research and due diligence if let's say you want to make any decision in investment. After my research, I have found that the sudden hike of the market was due to the stimulation plan introduced by US worth $2 trillion. Yes, $2 trillion. It is a 2,000 of billions dollars or 2 millions of the millions dollar. Isn't it sound incredible? Yes, it is. Starting from 2008 to 2012, US has injected 3 times of QE, quantitative easing, have increased the money supplies by 4 trillions. And the current stimulation plan is already almost 50% of the plan that the US have been running for the 4 years in 2008 to 2012, which most of the economists think that the federal government's quantitative easing program is the one that rescued the 2008 financial crisis of US. And this 2 trillion stimulation plan passed by the senator in the upper chamber is overwhelmingly voted to pass the legislation, approving it at 96-0. Furthermore, the G20 leaders have made a statement that they are going to inject over a $5 trillion into the global economics. In Asia, Malaysia have also tabled a bill that worth 250 billion ringgit Malaysia, and Singapore also have done another rescue plan at 34 billion Sing dollars. Doesn't it remind you of the monopoly games? When the players on the table are running out of money or liquidity, the bank, with the help of the government, is injecting the money into the system to make sure the system is running, so the game can be continued. We all have learned it in school. If the central bank have increased the money supply in the market, the inflation will shoot up. And what worse, if the inflation have shoot up while the economic growth have come down, with the high unemployment rate, it will create what we call the stagflation. But to your surprise, throughout the 3 times of QE that run by the US, none of them have created any of the inflation that we read in the books. You can see from this chart, maybe it's a bit complicated, but you can see that during the quantitative easing one, the inflation have even go down to deflation rate. Now, you can see even more clearly, the US inflation rate are kept at a range of 2%, which is most of the economists think that is at a healthy inflation rate. In my own opinions, I think US have run a QE into the market that is already running out of money, is already running out of liquidity. And furthermore, based on the past experience, US have keep all the assets into the reserve that you can see from the graph, which balance up the system. However, the past QE was across 4 years, and currently these 2 trillions of the stimulation plan are huge and is implemented in the very short times. Yes, we are worried on the inflation, But again, in my opinion, this might not happen because currently US have high unemployment rate. The US unemployment rate is now at a record high of 3.3 million in the single week of the last week of March 2020. From the chart you can see the unemployment rate have rose by more than 3 million from 280,000 at the previous week into 3.3 million in the week before April. Of course, these are part of the side effect of the COVID-19. But this is not the point here. What really bothering me is how is this global stimulation plan is going to impact a developing country like my country, Malaysia, a developing country in Southeast Asia. As the US markets have been injecting the money into the market and kept the interest at the record low, I believe all this money is going to find another way out to the developing country to source for a better potential and the higher interest rate. If this really happens, we can expect increasing in prices of the share market and real estate market of developing country. However, this is going to take time to see the effect of the stimulation plan on the developing country, especially when the whole world have been locked down in terms of economics now. So it may take weeks, months or even years to see the impact on the developing country. So is now the right time to invest? This is really $1 million question or $1 trillion question now. If you ask me, is it wise for the government to push through the stimulation package? My answer would be yes. Although there is a side effect from this stimulation package, but now these are the right things that the government have done to push the market from recession back to the normal. So personally, I choose to be very optimistic towards what the government have done, and I choose to be optimistic for the market to come. So whether is it now a good timing to invest or not? I believe this is very much depend on how effective is the containment of the virus at the global level. It is now virus that set the timeline, not you, not me, not the government. However, this shouldn't stop you from going out there and source for a good deal that is way below market price, but it may take time, so don't rush and be patient about it. In the next couple months to come, I believe they are going to have so many good deals in the market. But bear in mind, although we know that the inflation might be coming, although we know that the hot money might be coming to the developing country, but we do not know how long it's going to take for the market to recover. And especially on this moment of time, it's very much depend on how fast can we do the containment of the virus. So bear in mind, a holding power is the key in this period of time. Markets are volatile, and we have never been experiencing what we have experiencing now. And economics are far more complicated than what we have already been discussing here. It also depends on the demand and the supply, import and export of a country, as well as the monetary policy and also the value of the currency. Even an experienced economics or even the government cannot be 100% sure when is the market going to recover and going to shoot up. Before you do any investment, please make sure you have the saving that can keep you survive from 8 to 12 months to come. So be wise and be careful in your next investment. See you again.